It's my absolute pleasure to welcome you to this course on creating lesson plans for inclusive music teaching. My name is Lillian Simmons. I've been a piano teacher for over 20 years. I'm also the director of Enact Music and director of the Certificate for Music Educators course at Enact Music, a course which we have accredited by ABRSM and also Trinity College London. This specific course provides a teaching qualification at level 4 for educators in a variety of teaching contexts that may include early years, primary and secondary school settings, community settings, instrumental and singing studios or academies or schools. And I'm really excited to be offering now this course on creating lesson plans for inclusive music teaching, because indeed inclusion must already be considered at the planning stages. And this is where we can ensure that we are promoting, but also delivering teaching that every child, every learner, be it adult or child actually, has an opportunity to develop their musical potential to the best extent possible. In this short presentation, I will just go over a few things that are really important for you to have the best learning experience possible. So I'll go over to tell you a little bit about what will you learn. So basically, what are the learning outcomes for this course? And then we'll talk a little bit about how you will learn. So what are the learning activities and what sort of learning experience you can have throughout the course. Then we'll talk about the certificates that you are offered after completing the course. And we'll have a brief overview on how to navigate the course player and then what to do after you have completed the course. So after you complete the course, you are expected to have a deep understanding on the principles of universal design learning, and also be able to reflect on how these principles can inform and guide your lesson planning in your own teaching environment. You will also be expected to consider the main characteristics of inclusive lesson plans, and be able to identify aspects and elements which you may need or want to actually change and adapt in your own lesson planning to ensure that you're really promoting inclusive learning environments. And as part of the course, you will be given a systematic approach to lesson planning. As you will see, you will have 10 steps that you will be able to follow that will provide you opportunities to create then comprehensive, inclusive lesson plans. So in terms of how will you learn, this is a self-directed learning course, and what this means is that you will actually have access to all online materials. These online materials include video recorded lectures, but also learning activities that you can do at your own pace. The course can be completed anytime between 7 weeks to a year, so you have a full year to access the course and study and take the most of it. But you will have access to all the learning materials, and you'll be able to navigate the course platform in any sequence you'd like to do. Although I would suggest keeping the sequence that we have placed in the course, because some of the learning builds on the previous learning. So it's best to take a sequential approach to the learning. And the course provides you with up-to-date knowledge that is really relevant to those teachers who really want to develop themselves to the next level and ensure that they do create and develop inclusive learning environments. There are reflective learning activities throughout the course, and those activities are aimed at giving you an opportunity of practically applying the insights you gain throughout the course in your planning. meaning that once you complete all those activities, you will have created a very comprehensive and inclusive lesson plan, which we would then hope that you will be able to transfer the insights you've gained throughout the course to other lessons, to other learning environments. As we know, many of us music teachers, we do teach in a variety of different contexts. We teach different age ranges, so we're all always, or most of times, actually multitasking, and therefore the insights that you will gain are transferable to a variety of different contexts. So what is the course content? So basically, you will start with a unit on universal design learning, so that you can understand what are the principles of universal design learning and the importance that those can actually have as considered as part of your lesson planning. Then we'll move on to understand more about lesson planning. What is it? Why is it important? How can it be done? And what aspects do we need to consider? We'll then move on to actually identify what are the characteristics of inclusive lesson plans, so that you can understand, are the plans you've been doing previously inclusive already, or perhaps partially inclusive, and if there's anything else you would like to change or adapt to improve them. And then we'll have lesson planning step by step. So we'll have a lecture, short video recorded lectures for each of these steps, step 1 to 10, each of them accompanied by learning activities that you will do side by side with the lecture. And there will be a conclusion then with some possible next steps. So in terms of the certificates that you can gain after completing the course, we have two types. One is the certificate of course completion, and the other one is called Certificate of Course Knowledge. So what is the difference then between these two certificates? Well, you can get the Certificate of Course Completion after you actually view all the video recorded lectures. That means that you do not need to submit the learning activities that you have there as part of the course. Even if you decide to go for the Certificate of Course Completion and you don't want to submit the learning activities, I would still say have a look at the questions posed in the learning activities and think about them and reflect about them, so that you can gain the best out of the course. Certificate of Course Knowledge can be then gained once you actually, obviously, you will watch the video recorded lectures and also complete the learning activities and submit those. Though your work will then be graded and assessed by an internal assessor at Enact Music. This certificate can only be awarded to work that is considered to be at a pass level. If your work is not at the pass level, you will actually receive anyways constructive written feedback that can help you to review the work that you have done, shall you would like to obviously review. In this case, you can either opt to receive the Certificate of Course Completion instead, or to resubmit your work with perhaps considering obviously the feedback given in terms of improvement. Resubmitting your work for reassessment incurs a £40 fee, which needs to be paid fully upfront. We assess the work, and this fee is obviously not included in the course fee. So now let's move on to navigating the course player. So you'll have video recorded lectures, you'll have reflective learning activities, and also resources. And the picture here is of a book that I have written, which also has a chapter on lesson planning. So you'll have access to that specific chapter, which is chapter 5 of the book, called Planning for Inclusive Teaching and Learning. And also in terms of resources, you will have a lesson plan template that will be useful for your future planning. Obviously, that's only one of the possible approaches to templates of lesson plans. There are many other approaches, and you might want to adapt it for it to work with your own preferred ways of working and of planning. So let me just move on to the platform. So when you access the learning platform, this is the view that you will have. So here you have 3 tabs. One is called Path, and the path has all the materials that you will be viewing and working on for the purposes of the course. The second tab is Learners. So there you will be able then to see who else is doing the course. And this is for discussions. Let's imagine you wanted to put a question or a possible idea for discussion, both for our team in terms of the teachers delivering the course, and also for other learners to reply to. So you would use the discuss table tab to do that. In terms of the path, so these materials are all organized in sequential order. You will see that you will have always like a video recording followed by a learning activity. And in terms of learning activities, some of these have only one question, others may have more questions. So for example, if I click here for learning activity 4, let's say start, you will see that there are 3 questions here. So that's the first one, question 1 of 3. And then obviously just to move forward to the next one, you'll just click the yellow button there. It takes you to question 2 and then to question 3. And then you'll be able to submit whenever you have answered the questions. And then here towards the end, you have the resources file, which contains the 2 PDFs I mentioned earlier. So the chapter of the book and also a lesson plan template. Once you finish the course, you have here the certificates tab, and here you'll be able to select which one is the one that you have decided to take. So if it's the certificate of course completion, you can just click and that will be done for you. If it's the certificate of course knowledge, you will need to allow at least 3 weeks after you have submitted your last learning activity for us to assess it and to grade it. And once that is graded, if it's graded positively, so that is at a pass level, then you'll be able to download the certificate from the platform at that point in time. So let me just move on here to the slides. So after you complete the course, we would appreciate that you fill in the questionnaire, which we have placed in the conclusion section of the course. And that's because your views are extremely important to us. And we're always working in terms of how we can do what we do better. And obviously, your views are extremely, extremely crucial to help us improve the course and everything we do as teachers and as educators. So we'd really appreciate if you could fill that in once you complete the course. And as I mentioned earlier, after you complete the course, then you can download both the certificates, as I mentioned earlier. After you complete this course, you may want to consider enrolling in some of our other courses. I would say that perhaps the next pathway after this could be the Certificate for Music Educators course. As I mentioned earlier, it is ideal for those seeking a music teaching qualification, and it is for teachers working in a variety of different contexts. You can find more information on that course as well on our website, or just drop us an email and we'll be very happy to provide you with more information. So congratulations for enrolling in the course and really starting this very exciting learning journey. I and my staff at Enact Music, we are delighted to have you here and also to support you at all your stages in your learning. So if there's anything that you want to ask, please drop us an email and let us know if you have any questions. And we look forward to working with you. Thank you very much.